Welcome back to another episode. Today's topic is the speed of trust. Now, I've been reading a good book by Steven Covey called The Speed of Trust. I know the image may be backwards for you, but the book is by Steven Covey, and the book is called Speed of Trust. And on the front cover, Steven mentions that it is the one thing that changes everything. All right. In this trust series, we've been talking a lot about trust. When I'm speaking of trust, I'm speaking of contracts with trustees and beneficiaries. But trust itself is something that you have to build and establish before you can really move forward with having a trust even to start with. All right. So you need trust in order to create a trust. Right. So the speed of trust, how does it work? What is important in establishing and creating trust? Well, within Stephen's book, he mentions 4 trust cores. Those trust cores specifically are intent. You need to have intent to have trust. It is, let's say, your agenda to create and establish trust. The second trust core is integrity. So integrity means you are upfront and secure in what you're presenting, what you're offering, what you're bringing to the forefront, right? Third, you have capability. So you have something to offer. Now, with the whole idea of having trust, you need to be able to offer something with that trust. So whether it's responsibility of carrying a particular position, whether it's carrying through on what you say you're going to do, your word, but you need to have integrity there. So that's something that's super important. You need to do what you say you're going to do. Or, I'm sorry, the capabilities, you need to actually be able to carry something out that you have the capacity to actually do. And then last but not least, results. So the whole idea of trust is you can't establish trust unless you can prove results with that. The trust needs to be there for some reason, for some type of, let's say, transfer or something just being passed back and forth within the relationship. So to have that trust, you need to actually have results that prove that trust is actually established. So those are the 4 trust cores. From there, you have specific trust behaviors. And the trust behaviors are talking straight, demonstrating respect, creating transparency, righting wrong. So if something's wrong, you actually have to correct that. Showing loyalty, delivering results, getting better at what you do, confronting reality, clarifying expectations, practicing accountability, listening first, keeping your commitments, and also extending trust. So those are 13 trust behaviors. From there, you have 5 waves of trust. Now, this is something that's pretty interesting because sometimes we don't really think of trust fitting in with 5 commonly used words that you hear out in society: credibility, behavior, alignment, reputation, and contribution. Those are actually correlated to 5 waves of trust. Credibility is actually self-trust, just trusting in yourself and what your capabilities actually are. From there, you have behavior. Your behavior represents relationship trust. So if you ever read Richard Flint's book, Behavior Never Lies, that tells you, how you actually feel about relationships. No matter what you say, your behaviors essentially are an element of truth or trust that come out of how you feel about a relationship. Third, you have organizational trust, which actually goes along with alignment. So if you're with an organization, are you aligned with your organization? Because odds are, if you're not aligned with your organization, you're not going to be with that organization very long. Or there's going to be something that rubs you the wrong way, and you're going to create a shift or a schism between the two. Fourth, you have reputation that aligns with market trust. So remember, they say if you have anything, you have to have your reputation. Well, your reputation is how the outside world sees you, how the market sees you. So you want to have a good reputation. If your reputation is tarnished, it makes it very difficult for you to do anything within a market. Then last but not least, we have contributions. Now, contributions are based on societal trust. So what contributions are you making into society? How do you trust the environment, let's say, that you're living in? Because those are what those contributions are essentially going to be correlated to. Now, all of that comes together to make a really, really cool chart. It's called the Smart Trust Matrix. And I'm going to show it to you. I know it may be a little bit backwards. I'll also try to send some information out about it as well. But essentially within that matrix, your x-axis is propensity and your y-axis is analysis. And the whole idea is, let's say you start not knowing someone, you're being introduced for the first time, and you don't know them from anything, just let's say a name. So you walk up and there's no trust that's been established there. So that low trust, or that no trust area, represents an area of low propensity, and also represents an area of low analysis. So you haven't had a chance to kind of feel things out. You don't really have a lot invested within sort of understanding it and knowing sort of what this person represents. So there's no trust there yet. So that's where you start. But then from there, you can pivot and move in a few different directions. One area you can move is distrust. So say you do your homework, then all of a sudden, things just they just don't feel right. They don't smell right. There's something that's off there, right? And so let's say it's an organization, and let's say that their alignment doesn't align with yours. And then there's like an element of distrust. Like, I'm not really a fan of what they do. I don't like what they do. Maybe that doesn't fall with my belief system. So I've moved to an area of distrust. And so I try to distance myself from that. Now, let's say in another example, let's say I'm meeting someone for the first time, and you know what? We're kind of vibing here. I don't really know too much about them, but I'm getting a good initial sense of things. I might not need to do my homework, because then all of a sudden I hear from a friend, oh, so-and-so works at this great place and they'll be able to hook you up and everything else. So I'm just like, based on their status, I might move in there with blind trust. And blind trust is this whole idea of gullibility, where it's just, I'm trusting what I'm hearing and I'm not really doing that much analysis, but I'm just taking that leap. And that leap, again, it might fail you, because if that person doesn't actually end up turning out to be who they say they are, or something different than what you think, then all of a sudden, you're trusting something that's not necessarily going to serve you in the best, or serve your best interest. And then last but not least, when you move from an area of no trust and you do your homework, things line up, and you're actually seeing this idea of reciprocity, where whatever you're putting out, you're getting back, you move into this area of smart trust. So, no matter what the situation you're looking into or dealing with, when dealing with trust, you need to think about risk management. And so 3 questions I'm going to leave you with for today are: what is the opportunity? What is the risk? And what is the credibility of those involved? If you can answer those 3 questions, you're going to move yourself in a much better position as far as figuring out, is this something that I need to trust, or something that I need to kind of move back at arm's length and keep my distance? So I hope you enjoyed this episode today for Speed of Trust, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Have a good one.